Welcome back to the dopest show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer, and this is my sidekick, Sasha. Spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but I've been off heroin since April 9, 2010. Got a lot of stories about the dumb stuff I did to get put in prison. Also got a lot of stories about the crazy stuff that happened when I was actually in prison, and God forbid you end up in prison. You want to make some of the same mistakes I made. So, this happened. Oh, this was bad. It just wasn't nothing recent. This wasn't no backlash from what happened the other day. End up having to do what it wasn't nothing from the other day. This was a while back. So there were these guys over in these projects, same projects that I used to drive back and forth for the guy who was the biggest dealer in my town. We had one apartment, it was a trap apartment. Across the street was his mom's apartment. That's where everything was stashed at. I was running back and forth from the ground level apartments all day. Then we had a third location in the country in which we'd drive to at night. No cops or robbers, stick up kids, knew where that was at. But anyway, this was over there. And there were these kids, I say kids, they were my age, but people call them the crack kids. Some of these guys were older than me. But I mean, people like 18, stuff like that. A lot of the older people call them kids and stuff. They weren't kids. They were 6 foot, 200 pounds. I was 5'9", about 140, 145, 150 at the best. And but anyway, I always had like this sense of right and wrong and everything else. And addiction can lead you in some bad places. That's the big message in this one and in a lot of my stories. And this is one just me being completely open, and talking about it. I talk about like mental health issues and everything else. I'm gonna put some stuff out there about myself because I mean it's what happened. And there's a detail about this that nobody else knew about. Yeah, that detail in the thumbnail. Yeah, that happened. Nobody knew about that little thing. But shoot, man, it's been over a decade. Whatever, things happen. So my friend calls me, and the thing is with these guys who were dealers over there, he'd went to them, and he then ended up, buying something, and it was fake. It was a dummy, which that was something that they were, this specifically one of them was known to do. If he ran out, well shoot, he'd just get, a piece of soap and sell that. Okay, and I was like, shoot, I think I know where they stash at. I said, you want to go hit them? He's like, I don't know. I said, it's okay, I'll go get it. So we end up going. He ends up going with me, and sit there and watch for a minute. We see his guy come up in this nice car, see them, and see him stash it. Now, where they stashed it at, I actually got a video, like the See Where It Happens video ways back. There's 3 videos with a similar thumbnail, and I talk about I got the worst whooping. It's in like this, I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, behind the building, there's an air conditioner. It's on like this concrete platform. But under the platform, it's like, just, there's like, you could put something under it, like shove something under it. Saw it got them go and hide whatever they just got from this guy underneath of it. So I wait, patient, and end up going and snatching it. Well, it turns out that was the entire re-up. That was every penny they had. So basically, some people stack money and this and that. These guys lived re-up to re-up. They put all their money in this re-up. So when I took this, I took every penny they had. They had to start with $5 and $10 at a time, because this was like, thousands and thousands of dollars that I just hit. So if you take every penny somebody has, especially in this type of thing that I'm discussing, they're not going to be too happy with you. They're going to be pretty upset, needless to say. Even though that wasn't what I dealt in and anything like that, I'm my friend, more than made right whatever, he was done wrong, and then got rid of the rest of it. Like I said, drugs are absolutely awful, and this is the type of situations you end up when you mess with drugs, and that's the main point I'm trying to get across here, is that bad stuff can happen. This could have been a lot worse than it was. It was pretty dang bad, but it could have been a lot worse. So ultimately, there were whispers, this, that, or who might have done what. There was suspicions, suspected times, and everything else. And there had been words. I talked about this one crazy day where it was a car chase, everything else, with the one guy, and he started, talking crazy about how he was a boss. And I said, "You're a boss?" I said, "So and so said you're selling fake stuff." I said, "You're selling dummies and you're a boss?" I said, "I didn't know bosses sold dummies." And he didn't take too kindly to that, as you might imagine. So, anyways, what ultimately ended up happening was, I'm pretty sure that the guy, I used to drive for the guy who was like the biggest dealer in my city. He did a 90-day sentence for a driving charge in jail, during which time basically his family and friends robbed everything he had. Ripped the safe out of the floor by tying a chain around it and getting a running start with the truck. He was left with nothing. So he always wanted to party like a rock star, but he never had rock star money after that. So, he kept in the mix and everything, but his girl was like somebody that would just run her mouth about everything. She's the same girl that used too much, had a seizure, and she woke up with one eye that went to a quarter to three. And then he kept getting aggravated, looking at, saying, "That eye's getting to me, man. What's wrong with your GDI?" And then he walks over to her and he puts her head in his hand, and he goes, tried to knock her eye back into place. Yeah, that was a funny moment. Like, oh my God, But anyway, I believe she said something. I mean, I don't know for sure, 100%, but I'm pretty sure she said something about it. So I was over there, and I was coming down the stairs, and I got ambushed. Something really hard hit me in the back of the head, and didn't feel like a fist. Fell down the stairs, and basically the steps go up the part, but there's also steps that go down that are about 5 foot down. And I'm trapped between like the corner inside this breezeway, and I'm on my hands and my knees, and I have my hand like this covering my face. Oh man, there were 3 sets of feet. Big guys, they're young, but they're big. They're the same age as me, but I was built like a kid. These guys were built like grown men. I got whooped. I got kicked in my ribs, and my hand shielded every bit of the face kicks, and there were a good many that hit my hand. My hand was purple for a month. But one kick, see, I'm up against the wall. I'm in the corner of a wall, so the one side of my body is completely good, completely safe. But the other side of my body, and I've got my head up against the wall, and I've got this covered, so only one side of my body is exposed, able to be kicked. And basically, the shoe came under this hand, and the toe hit that eye, and it was bad. Anyway, they kicked for a minute straight, then they ran off, and I walked out. I walked out of there, and I could see at that point, but I lost complete vision in my eye. I don't go to the hospital for anything. And I went to the hospital, but after I got in the car, I realized I lost bowel control. Yeah, that happened. Have 3 people kick you in your ribs as hard as they can for a minute straight. Yeah, lost bowel control. That's some embarrassing stuff. Nobody knows that detail, but in terms of just talking about how bad something can get, and it could have been worse. Could not be here right now. But ultimately, I lost vision in that one eye for about 36 hours. I regained the vision, went to the hospital, thought I was blind. Everything was white. It could be pitch black in the room. It was white. I couldn't see a shadow, couldn't see anything. For probably 36 hours, I couldn't see anything. Of course, the hospital loaded me up with pain meds and stuff like that. It was back during that age. But, yeah, this is the type of stuff that can happen. That was a low point. And we hit one of them, they hit one of us. Nobody ever knew that I went doo-doo on myself that day. But I didn't even know that I'd done it until after I got back in the car. But I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, no. Oh. But yeah, that happens. Anyway, this is a short one. It can get bad. You mess around with that stuff. Bad stuff can happen. Okay, you know, you get three people who are 200 pounds, about 6 foot tall, kicking you as hard as they can. I mean, it's there's bad stuff that can happen. There's horrifying stuff that can happen. It could have been a whole lot worse than that, of course. But that was a pretty bad one. That was rough. A minute doesn't sound like a long time. A minute is forever when you got three sets of feet coming at you. And like I said, it's you get involved in this type of thing. That's what can happen. There was recently, three guys that came out of a car and just started blasting. At a $500,000 house in this rich neighborhood, and turns out that the kid had robbed them. They went up in the rich area, and they went on and they just said, screw it, light it up, yeah. And then that guy, the same guy who'd robbed them, they didn't get him that night. They caused a whole ruckus though. That kid turned up overdosed, dead 2 days later, probably on the stuff that he'd stole. And so I mean, that's type of thing that can happen. That's what could have happened. That's what could have happened. People come after me like that. But yeah, I took an L that day. So talking about stuff, things that happen. That's what can happen. Got ambushed. They were on me quick. I'm usually pretty aware of my surroundings, but that day, mm-mm. So anyway, if you like the video, press the like button. If not, it's 11 minutes and 43 seconds of your life. Like I said, I'm going to keep it real on my losses, everything else. There's a reason, with a lot of the stuff that I decided to quit doing this, and this wasn't enough. I kept on using plenty after that. But yeah, bad stuff can happen. And I was scared to death I was going to lose that eye. My face was purple, green, blue, every type of color. So anyway, if you like to press the like button.